Alright recruits, listen up. This season is Battle Academia, and it's my job to get your asses in line. What's poppin' everyone? It's your Drill Sergeant Levi, and this is the top 5 cadets to pick up this season. We're going to be assessing each cadet's combat role, tactical strength, and reviewing intel footage. First up, we got Nadine. Specifically, Crossbow Nadine. Nadine is a primary damage dealer specializing in ranged damage with basic attacks. She likes prolonged fights that let her ramp up her attack speed. Nadine's E provides a significant attack speed ramp up on cast and doubles up as her escape tool as well. This escalating rate of fire allows her to shred enemy health bars very quickly. Because of that high rate of fire, Nadine is virtually unduelable in her range. Her consistent damage output and cheap build allows her to come online very quickly. While she was once known as an infinite stacking character, Nadine's passive now caps at 200, meaning you can get into the fights quicker. Nadine's Q fires an arrow from long range. While it does significantly less damage on crossbow than her amp bow counterpart, it still provides good poke in neutral. You don't want to use it mid-fight as it will be a loss of damage compared to right clicks, but if your health is running low and it's too dangerous to step back up, use it from range. It's also a decent tool to safely check bushes as there will be a sound effect if you hit somebody. Being a crossbow character, this damage dealer has some utility in her kit. While you won't be the initiator for your team, don't be afraid to step up and crossbow enemies into walls for a pick if they're too far away from their team. Getting a wall stun ensures an easy setup for follow-up damage. Additionally, if you are in a team fight and a flanker is diving onto you, you can use it as a peel tool. Best case scenario, you catch a diver mid-dash and you can turn the fight onto them. No soldier is without their vulnerabilities. Nadine's escapabilities are mediocre compared to most characters. We just talked about crossbow skill, but let's go back to her monkey wire. Nadine's E is a mid-range dash, which is best used for traversing over walls to reposition. While she gets to control the timing of her dashes, her general location is telegraphed due to her wire being 2 casts. Enemies that save a dash for getting onto her will attempt to track her to the location she'll be dashing to. While Nadine isn't too complex, she requires all the basic fundamentals of a marksman character. You'll be challenged on positioning and how much damage you can output in a fight. You'll typically want to fight front to back with her, but if you get the chance to spring onto an unsuspecting carry, you need that killer instinct as well. Pair Nadine with a CC heavy tank or a peeler such as Estelle or Mai. They are great at making space for Nadine while possessing ultimates capable of bailing her out in disadvantageous positions. You can also deploy Nadine alongside a support unit like Charlotte. Nadine's high damage output negates the typical damage loss associated with opting for support pairings. Charlotte will help her getting dove and keep her team topped up with heals and shields. Nadine is capable of delivering devastating damage from range, but you'll be out of line fighting in close quarters. You'll want to look for the Bruiser playstyle for those up close and personal fights. For the Bruisers, we have Hisui. Hisui is a frontline damage dealer, and she's designed to be somewhat durable that also deals significant damage. She excels at being annoying for enemies and being a persistent threat that enemies can't easily ignore or focus down. Hisui thrives in the thick of combat after your initial engagement has occurred. She's not a strong initiator herself, having very little CC, but she excels at following up on a teammate. Once she's on a target, particularly a backline damage dealer, she can be very oppressive, making it difficult for them to deal damage or escape. The best Hisui players will master the use of her W, making use of all 3 distinct purposes. W1 provides a shield, increasing her survivability during trades and getting onto a target. W2 is her gap close. It allows her to dash and knock up a target, offering a small amount of crowd control. W3 grants a brief invulnerability frame to dodge incoming abilities and heals her if she hits enemies, providing sustained and prolonged fights. If she gets this off on multiple enemies, she will heal for a ton of health back. Because of Hisui's high damage output and AoE sustainability, she is strongest when surrounded by enemies. You might think of Hisui as a great diving character, and she is, but she's underrated in comps that want to kite backwards too. She also comes equipped with 2-handed sword, meaning you'll be able to eat a big cooldown and parry with good timing. Hisui's only real CC is the knockup on W2, which is relatively short range and can be dodged, especially at max range. Before the fight starts, Hisui struggles as she lacks significant poke tools and can't provide much in neutral. She prefers the fight to start as quickly as possible or to look for a flank. A tip for expediting this is to try and get your W stacks on animals if you can. If she's constantly taking damage from range, she won't be able to get in range by the time she has to use W3 to survive. Pairing Hisui with a support like Charlotte can be very beneficial. Charlotte's healing and shield capabilities help Hisui survive the initial gap close and any poke she might take. She can be very strong when she's scaled with transition items, and if you do have that support with you, getting items funneled onto her will accelerate her build. Double fourscore can be a ton of firepower for her, and having support to funnel that means you aren't losing damage somewhere else. If your team is struggling in the early game and dying frequently, it could take longer for Hisui to reach these power spikes. You'll also want to pair her with another strong strong damage dealer to alleviate some of the responsibility on Hisui as the sole damage source. I mentioned Charlotte as a good support for Hisui, but she's not the support I'm putting on this list this season. Despite healing being really strong, I'm going to go with a character that doesn't have a heal in his kit. The reworked Leon takes my pick for the support slot. Leon primarily functions as an initiator for his team. While he can be built to deal significant damage, particularly with his glove counterpart, he also excels as a tankier initiator with utilizing Tonfa. This is best used in a coordinated team. Leon's core playstyle revolves around diving onto high priority targets and isolating them with his ultimate. A significant improvement to his kit this season, he no longer needs to dive into puddles to initiate, making his engagements faster and more reliable. He excels at quick decisive snap initiations, creating immediate pressure on the enemy team. Additionally, Leon provides valuable peeling tools to his team, providing shields with his W. His initiation tools can double up as peel if used on divers on his own backline. Even though his abilities are super impactful, Leon is relatively straightforward to learn and play. He has a surprising amount of versatility and playstyle while still being good for beginners to Eternal Return. He also provides a very obvious go button for his team. His dive and ultimate combo clearly signal when the team should engage, which can be particularly valuable in lower to mid elo games where coordination is less precise. With a well-executed dive and ultimate combo, Leon has the potential to single-handedly win a team fight on his own. He also has good wall jumping capabilities, a decently reliable escape tool, and a Q movement speed increase, making him a good rat that's difficult to catch when teammates are dead. When Eternal Return made the switch to squads in 1.0, Leon was one of the characters I picked up to help learn the dynamics of 3v3 fighting. While Leon can outright win the fight for his team, he cannot carry the fight for his team. What I mean for this is he cannot reliably 1v3 an enemy team if your team is dead. He needs some sort of follow-up on his engagements to capitalize on openings he creates, even if it's just the bare minimum. And even though he's an easy character, he's not quite fail-proof. A botched initiation can be fatal for Leon. He often dives so deep into enemy lines that if he's knocked off his ultimate or he misses his target, it can be difficult for him to escape, especially against characters with strong lockdown or anti-dive. Leon's pairs well with characters that have strong burst potential. Alex's large AoE ultimate can slow enemies down, making it easier for Leon to land a clean engage, or it can be used as a follow-up to his initiation to spread damage across all enemies. Same with a character like Abigail, whose burst assassin potential allows her to capitalize immediately on the clump targets created by Leon's ultimate. Leon's deep dives require a team follow-up, and a failed initiation can definitely leave him vulnerable. For that, you'll want a good teammate to help bail him out. Someone who works well in almost every single team comp at bailing out their teammates is our tank choice this season, Estelle. Estelle's primary role is a frontliner and excels as a peeler dedicated to protecting her teammates from aggressive enemy divers. She is most effective when one teammate is relatively self-sufficient and can handle a single peeling threat themselves. This allows Estelle to focus on her carry and CCing remaining enemies. Estelle is arguably one of the best peeling characters in the game, rivaled only by Mai in her ability to protect allies. Kit is loaded with CC, and her primary function is to lock down enemies in her team's range, creating opportunities for her team's damaging abilities. She possesses a significant amount of bulk, allowing her to absorb skill shots with her health bar or outright block them with a shield. While mostly point and click abilities and AoE abilities, Estelle is not a mechanically demanding character to play effectively. You just need to keep track of your teammates' health. I talked about Leon being incredibly versatile, but Estelle might be even more versatile. Beyond protecting backline carries, she can also function effectively in dive compositions, providing follow-up crowd control for teammates who dive deep into enemy lines. Her damage output should not be underestimated either. Even with a tank-focused build, the damage from items like Blazing Dress and Quick Tac skill provides a substantial threat in the early and mid-game scenarios. This allows her to contribute meaningfully to fights without heavily investing into damage items, freeing up resources to funnel towards her carries for later in the game. She does have a heavier damage build, which focuses on bulkier amp transitions with Blade of Truth tac skill, but personally, I think she does more than enough damage with her tank build. Estelle's passive ability allows her to revive fallen teammates more quickly, providing a crucial advantage in 2v2 scenarios to regain the numbers advantage. However, you'll want to be wary when you're the last alive. If she fails to protect her team, her lack of strong escape tools makes her an easy target. She lacks a wall dash, and her shields can be blocked by terrain or enemies. Ideally, she needs a teammate who can create an escape route for her when her ult comes back up after a fight. Effectively protecting against two separate diving threats can be challenging. If facing a composition with multiple aggressive divers targeting different backline members, she may struggle to provide protection for everyone. Your resources can lead to either teammate not being protective significantly. Prioritize single target peeling when possible. While the temptation to use your ultimate defensively on a teammate being dove is strong, save your ultimate for your carry and play the two-man game with them. Because of this, Estelle pairs well with a single carry and a secondary damage dealer who's either an assassin or a mobile mage that once they've done their job doesn't need to be protected. Estelle is the ultimate morale character as well. As a marksman player, I'm almost never upset with having an Estelle on my team, even when she's out of meta or not that strong of a pick. However, not all characters are good when they're not strong. One character you want to make use of while they are strong is Arda. Arda's primary role is a backline poke mage with the added utility of sustaining his frontline through passive healing. He operates is an artillery mage, focusing on landing his skill shots, abilities to poke enemies, and create opportunities for his team to engage. He thrives when positioned behind reliable front line, allowing him to safely step up and unleash his spells. His passive ability provides healing, which, combined with low cooldowns, allows him to effectively sustain his frontline allies against enemy poke, often winning the attrition war. While all of Arda's abilities are skill shots, they are all AoE, making them not too difficult to land and allowing for potential multi-target damage. He excels in fights that take place in narrow corridors. Landing W or RW in tight corridors can heavily affect his team, making it difficult for enemies to walk through without taking significant damage or being stunned. Arda's ultimate paired with his E allows him to teleport his team over significant distances. This provides a versatile tool for both escaping dangerous situations and initiating surprise engagements, particularly with heavy dive compositions. However, using RE aggressively can leave Arda vulnerable to counter-engage, and it also sacrifices a significant amount of damage potential of using RW or RQ. For players new to Arda, focusing on front-to-back compositions will allow him to prioritize his damage output and fire off skill shots without added complexity and focus on being a damaging character. Save the utility for when you get better at him. And finally, in case all the characters listed here are already in your character pool, I want to give a brief honorable mention. Alex was recently reworked to be a little bit easier for people to play this season. One of the biggest drawbacks was that you had to manually craft all of his weapons that you wanted to use for him. Alex's passive, of course, being able to utilize pistol, shuriken, tonfa, and 2H all at one time. Now he gets weapon crates at different level thresholds around when he completes his build that gives him the weapons he didn't start with, so he can be on time for night one. It's a huge buff to his timing and overall quality of life, so if you're intimidated by Alex before, now's a good time to try him. It's a pretty cool character, and I wish I was much better at him. Hopefully you got some new picks to try out this season. One character that didn't make this list is Isfan, Eternal Return's newest test subject. Click or tap the screen now and you'll be taken to my day one experience with the character to see how he plays. Alright cadets, I'll see you on the island. Dismissed.